Welcome back to The Big Show. It's Alex Belford in the morning, BBC Radio Leeds. It's always nice to get an old friend back on the programme. Of course, he started on Emmerdale in 2008 and went on to become probably its biggest star right now. He's up for a British Soap Award. We're going to tell you about that in a bit. And of course, he's had some of the most dramatic storylines on Emmerdale in the last year, probably 2 years, in fact. He came on the show a few months ago, and since then, everybody wants to talk to Danny Miller. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Nice to have you back on the show, because you were on when I just started, and you were kind of growing in fame at that point, and everybody was kind of whispering about you. Since then, the Paul O'Grady's have been ranting that you're this brilliant genius, and you are. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been an amazing year for me. Really, really good.
Is it fun being you? You've got everything on your side, haven't you? You've got youth, you've got the good looks that the ladies like, and everybody's into you right now. It's going well.
Yeah, it's just been, like I said, an amazing year, and being so young and sort of nominated in all these big sort of categories with big competition and people who've been in the business for years it's a big honour, really. And you know, as I said, at such a young age, moving away from your parents and your family and sort of being alone in a city that you're not, you know, you don't know very well, it's just sort of turned my life upside down, really. But I'd say it's definitely turned my life upside down for the better.
And of course, once you're good at something, you've then got the pressure of doing it day in and day out. And the more people that are looking at you, the better you've got to be.
Yeah, it does put sort of more pressure on you. I've very luckily won a couple of awards last year, 2010, which was a great year for me. And I think it does put a bit of pressure on you for some reason. I think it's just to do with the fact that people are just saying, "Oh, right, so you think you can do something? Well, let's see it." And you know, that pressure sort of builds up on you day in, day in.
Where are Mum and Dad then?
They're back in Manchester. They're based in Stockport, and you know, I get back to there whenever I possibly can.
It's not a million miles away, is it? Really?
No.
Could be worse. They could live in Portsmouth or somewhere like that. So you get the call to get the gig. Did you have any idea they were going to use you so much? I spoke to Norris from Coronation Street just before Christmas, and he said the thing about these soaps is they never know what they've got, really. They think you've got something, but it's for you to prove yourself, and you certainly have. And then they've kind of given it such legs that you've had great storyline after great storyline. That's really the key to your success, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I came into the soap, I was just told that I was just going to be this stroppy teenager who was, you know, going to go around and cause trouble with young girls around the village, his age, and, you know, sort of really just do nothing, really. And then, you know, a new producer took over, who was brilliant, who's passed away, God bless him, and he just sort of turned my life and Emmerdale's life upside down, like I said, and just gave me storyline after storyline. And it's true, you know, you go into these soaps and you don't really know what's in store for you, you know, up to a certain point. But if you get on the screen and people are commenting to the producers and saying, oh, they don't like you and stuff, you know, your time there's really sort of limited, really. But I've been lucky to sort of been given the storylines and sort of showing people that, you know, I can do it if you push me to it. So yeah.
I guess you're talking about Gavin, who passed away very recently. Did that unnerve you a bit? Because we all need a champion in this business, and when they go, you've got to hope the next guy loves you as much. Yeah. Well,
when Gavin took over, he just sort of made me sort of centre of a big storyline, really, and it was amazing. And he's passed away, and I think, you know, it's strange because my confidence has been knocked a tiny bit, and you know, because he's always there on text, through email, phone, whatever it is, just to sort of say, you know, don't do it this way, do it that way, and just giving you constant advice. And I'm not saying, you know, the new producer doesn't, because he's great also, but Gavin was a close friend of mine, and he's gone now, so.
Very sad, and I'm sure you'd be very proud of you, because the National TV Awards are on their way at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Tell us what you're up for again.
It's called Serial Drama Performance, which is sort of like, so there's not Best Actor in, so Best Actress, it's just the two combined, really.
Right, so you're up against the women as much as the guys, the young against the old. There's no specific thing. So you're going to win it, there's no question, because you're the belle of the ball, quite frankly, at the moment. I think one of the big moments for you was this Christmas with Paul O'Grady. Yeah. If you don't mind me saying, he took a big risk with you.
Yeah.
He'd got Bette Midler on one side and you on the other. Now, I'm not putting you down for a second.
No.
But he obviously thinks you're brilliant to put you next to her, because she's an international megastar. It says a lot about what he thinks about you.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, when I got the call to do it, I was originally supposed to go on the last live show that he did, but then Paul took it a step further and said to his producers that he wants me on the Christmas Eve show. So I was a bit like, well, it's going to be on Christmas Eve, prime time, most people are going to be watching it, I'd love to do it. And then he just started sort of unreeling who was going to be on it, Bette Midler and David Hay and Cilla Black, and I felt like I was a bit of a cheat, really, sat on the couch, you know.
How does it feel when Cilla knows who you are before you even walk in the room?
It was Cilla was the only one who obviously knew who I was. I think she's a bit of a soap fan, obviously, other than Paul. But Bette Midler lives in America, and David Hay's off training, you know. And she just sort of put her arm around me and said hello, and it was like, oh God, it was really, really strange, you know, from watching Blind Date and surprise, and all that, you know, really strange.
And did she do anything inappropriate? I've spent a little bit of time in locked rooms, and you've got to be a bit careful. Fortunately, I'm deeply unattractive, so I didn't have those worries.
No, she was all right. I mean, after the show, you know, we were sort of celebrating Christmas as it was, really. It was their wrap party, Christmas party, so she was a bit merry and, you know, just reeling off stories about...
Sorry, did you say Cilla Black had a drink? Really? I think I need
surprise,
a record
surprise.
to... Yes, exactly. We're going to come back next with Danny Miller, the star of Emmerdale, probably one of our greatest actors of his generation. Well, he is, and I'm certain he's going to win this National TV Award. This is what you need to do. Go to www.nationaltvawards.com/vote and vote for Danny Miller, big star of Emmerdale. Back next. Back with our remaining moments then with Danny Miller. He's the star of Emmerdale right now, and there's so much we could talk about. We covered a lot of it last time, that you were thrown into this gay storyline and all of that stuff. Is that still as comfortable now as it was then?
I think I've obviously grown into it a bit more now, and I've become a bit more sort of confident, and, you know, the whole sort of playing a gay lad in a soap isn't as big of an issue as I thought it might be. And obviously, you know, any young lad who's straight walking into sort of a gay storyline would worry about, you know, what people would think and what would come with it and stuff. But I just see it as sort of entertainment now, and we're trying to tell people and the public a story, and I think, you know, we're getting it across as well as we want to be. What
reaction have you had from those magazines and people like that who have an opinion on it, are gay, have a vested interest? Have they embraced the way you've delivered this role, or are they offended that you're not gay?
No, a lot of them, sort of, especially sort of, you know, Gay Times and Attitude magazine and stuff, have put me on the front cover of their magazines because they're happy the way stuff's going. So,
may I ask, were you fully clothed at the time?
I had my top off on Attitude. Yeah.
Is that part of the deal? Is it?
Yeah, it was part of the deal. Yeah.
So you give them something and they give you something back.
Yeah.
And that thing of being attractive. I know you're in a relationship right now. Is that still going? Is that all right? Is it?
Yeah,
any questions you'd like to ask me? I'd like to help in any bedroom issues or anything you've got. I can help you with all of that. It must be really interesting to be popular and to have girls fancy you. How does that feel? That's another thing I've never experienced.
Yeah, it's strange because obviously before I was on the telly and whatever, and people wouldn't really sort of give me a second look or whatever. But I think now,
is that true?
That's true. That is true. That's true. I mean, I would always sort of be all right, and, you know, I'd get by and fancy.
There
girls
wasn't a drought.
Whatever.
That's what
no,
you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that. Yeah.
But then when the telly thing went out, it was all a lot more sort of, oh, look who it is. And
how do you avoid yourself being tempted by the really hot girls that you would never have got 2 years ago, or all that stuff? Because even though you've got a girlfriend, we're all human, aren't we? Put it that way.
Yeah. I think it's just the fact that, you know, I'm in a loving relationship, and I think that's it. That's all.
So as long as you don't get bored, everything will be fine.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
I couldn't get bored.
Out on the town then, how does that feel? Do you go out much? Do you like restaurants and clubs and all that, or do you keep yourself to yourself?
I don't mind going out restaurants and stuff, but I've had a lot of trouble in the past in clubs, which has put me off a lot. So I kind of try to avoid them and stick to sort of bars and stuff like that until 1 o'clock in the morning when I'm hammered, and then I'm off into any club that'll have me.
What is it then? The guys get jealous because you're better looking than they are, although you're a bigger star than they are. What is it?
I don't know. I think, you know, obviously it when you are on the TV and you're recognisable and stuff, I think it's expected that lads who have got girlfriends and then their girlfriends spot you and say, "Oh, come here and take a picture." Obviously, that's always awkward, and I think, I think, like you said, everyone's human, and it probably would be a bit embarrassing if it was my girlfriend.
Is the toughest thing for you saying no? Because I've spent a lot of time with famous people, far more famous than I am, because I'm not. But it's always a bit uncomfortable because they say, "Can you have a photo?" And the last thing you want to say is no, because you don't want to be the arse, do you? You want to be the guy that says yes, but actually then you've got to have some time to yourself. Is that tough for you right now?
It is now, yeah, because of sort of the popularity of the storyline and the show's increased, so it's got more and more I wouldn't say worse, but it's got more and more recognisable over the last year. I think the only time that I ever say no to somebody is when I'm eating. If I'm having a meal with anybody, I'll always say no, because I just think it's rude. I wouldn't go over and interrupt somebody else's meal and ask them for something if, but I always say, if someone asks me during the meal, I say, I'm just eating, but I'll have one after you.
I admire you very much, because I've had that where it's really uncomfortable, because you don't want to offend anybody and you don't want to look difficult. It's almost as if some people think they have a right.
Yeah, well, that's it. A lot of people, I mean, to be honest, 95% of the people that come up are very polite, but you do obviously have the people that, want to sort of say to their mates, oh, guess who I saw and guess what I said to him last night. But, it's a case of, being polite to people and just saying it in the nicest possible way to them.
I know you've been looking at me for the last 10-15 minutes, and I know what you want. Shall I get it for you? I know you're after one of my new signed photos, aren't you? This is what you've been after all your
That's
career,
all I've
isn't
come
it?
for,
Isn't
Alex,
it?
yeah. This
Isn't
is
that
all
true?
I've come for.
Hey, listen, congratulations on everything. You've done a sterling job in this soap, and you look like you were born to do it. I hope that's a compliment. You make it look so simple, and I have greatest respect for anybody that makes it look simple on a show that actually is full of pressure. Yeah. It's so fast, you can't keep cocking up or you're going to be out, and they've embraced you within the show and outside of the show more than I think anybody in recent history on the soaps, and that's purely down to your ability to turn it on with the character. Are you going to be happy in the end on that soap? I didn't want to get too Anaraki for those who don't watch it, but I mean, it's one bad thing after another, and now the poor guy's in the chair and you're still being honourable and all that. When are you actually going to get a proper portion from someone who's not going to give you a load of aggro with it?
Well, that's the interesting thing about the character. I think the fact that he has got so many opportunities of being happy, but he just doesn't take them. So I don't think he'll always be happy, but he'll never be permanently happy.
Where do you go from here? Are you happy to be in the soap for right now, or have you got plans to go? Or?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm 20 years of age. I've only been there 2 years. I think the character's still not run its legs yet.
Good for you. I get so sick of having these guys on, girls as well, more girls than guys actually, who say, I'm going to go on and be a big star in LA or somewhere else. No, you're not, love. You just hang on where you are for a bit. Yeah. That's brilliant. And people see you around town. You're always around West Yorkshire, and this is your home now, is it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Which is a bit strange to
just
say, really.
Stop bothering him during dinners. Just wait till the end or outside. Hang on a bit. Hold your horses. That's all we need to say. Right, let's do some business for you then. www.nationaltvawards.com/vote is the place to go. You need to get there quickly. Please vote for Danny Miller, best actor in a soap, serial drama and all that nonsense. Did you see any of EastEnders over Christmas, by the way?
I didn't watch any soaps over Christmas.
There was a silly storyline about babies dying. Can you imagine on Christmas?
So, yeah.
Isn't that stupid? I mean, babies dying on Christmas Day. Who'd have thought of that? Mind you, all lot are up to it with rape and all that. Bring back Norris on Coronation Street. Make us laugh, for the love of God. Hey, Danny Miller, really good to talk to you. And let me give it one more time. www.nationaltvawards.com/vote. Go and vote for Danny Miller, top man, and good luck with everything. So
Thanks,
coming
Alex.
on the show
Cheers.
again.
Thank you.